Shout out that big rig.
Okay people, so today we're going to be doing an install to get the transmission on that engine. We're going to be installing the shifter, dust plate for the transmission, clutch fork, throwout bearing, clutch sleeve, retaining pin for it, the retaining pin for the clutch fork. And here's some solid motor mounts. So we got the transmission cleaned up now, somewhat clean. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint the bell housing. While that transmission, I'm just putting some fluid and having that transmission flush out a little bit. While that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and assemble all this. So first things first, we're gonna get the clutch sleeve. That's the clutch sleeve right here. And we're gonna press the throwout bearing onto that clutch sleeve. On the throwout bearing, there's a flat side right here, and on this side, you could spin it. So the side you could spin is going to face towards the engine. So it's going to go like, this is going to face down, and then this presses right into that. Okay, so here's the clutch fork. There's a retainer for it. So that's this right here. See how it's grooved up, or it's curved up? It's gonna go in like that. Then down. And then there's two holes on the side. So you squeeze it. Boom, champion! Just like that. And then this is done. Next we have this, which you already had pressed on. The side that spins is gonna face on the outside. Then there's a retainer for that clutch sleeve, which is this one right here. I may not know how this shit does go on, but so this is the clutch sleeve. That's the retainer. So it looks like retainer clip would go like that. Buds on here. That's done. Next we have buckle, yeah. That's the part number. This is the pivot ball. This goes in the transmission. And we're gonna take a 17 mil deep socket. Now that the pivot bowl is installed, all I have left is really the release sleeve and the fork. So before I put any of those on, what I'm gonna do is get some Spline Lubricant. And this came with the clutch kit that I have, but if you don't have this, you could get some high temperature grease. And I'm also going to need some anti-seize.
On the pivot bowl, I'm just gonna put a light coat of it.
So you're only gonna take a little bit because you don't gotta coat it that much, because if any of it gets on the, you don't want any of it to get on the clutch disc itself. I'm gonna get a little bit on the end and on the actual shaft. I got the clutch, this thing, clutch fork right here, and basically, you can see it. Where these two springs are at the ends of them, you're just gonna slide that onto the fork.
Here we go. Nope.
Oh no. You go in here like that. Okay. You go in like that. Okay. You go in here like that. Okay. Then the pivot. Yep. There we go. Then this is not even moving, so it's cool. Then let's go a little bit more. There we go. Then I just put a little bit of why did you do that? Okay, so then I put a little bit of high temp grease on the ends of it. Okay, now let's see if it maybe I wasn't supposed to put grease there. Lastly, I'm gonna take a little bit more Spline Lubricant, and it's a little too much. Just a little bit, and I'm just put a light coat on the edge of this thing, on the edge of the bearing. Oops. Just like that. When I push it, it works, but I just don't like how it's going at that angle like that. So I'm guessing once I get the slave in, it'll keep it pushed out like that, and it'll just go straight. This is the slave cylinder. That's the part number. That's what it looks like. So what I'm gonna do is just give this a little coat of paint real quick. Alright, so I can't find the torque specs for this, so I'm just gonna do, I don't know. I'm just gonna tighten it by hand. Should be more than enough. Okay. Boom. Alright, so now when hydraulic pressure is applied over here, it's gonna, this is gonna get pushed. And when that gets pushed, and this gets pushed, it's gonna push this out, and then this bearing is gonna make contact with that pressure plate. On the input shaft, on that end of the transmission, it's basically the same thing as the clutch alignment tool. So everything will just pop right in there. It'll be easier because I'm doing it out of the car, but one thing that I have to remember is
This little dust shield.
This motor's from my S13, this transmission's from my S14. That's why there's this hole. This is for a crankshaft position sensor, but on the S13 it's on the distributor. So I'm just gonna put the sensor back in here just to fill up the hole. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get some recruits. I can't do this. So it looks like everything went on, everything lined up. Only problem is the bolts don't reach, and they start on, but they don't reach. So it could be that the automatic bolts are different from the manual transmission bolts. So that's the only thing, but besides that, everything is good to go. Once I get those bolts in, Engine's ready to drop. Just put the shifter on. I wasn't able to get the shifter. Still gotta get hardware for it, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.